Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're zeroing in on something I think a lot of us are interested in, boosting that income. Specifically, we're exploring jobs that pay $30 an hour or more right now in 2024.
Yeah, and considering the average pay across the U.S. is, what, around $20 an hour, hitting that $30 mark is, well, it's a pretty significant step up financially.
Definitely opens things up.
Exactly. So we've dug into some information outlining these kinds of opportunities. Our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Identify some top jobs paying $30 plus on, talk about what they actually involve.
What you'd be doing.
Right, and look at the average pay plus the general requirements. Whether you're maybe thinking about a career change or wanting to upskill, or even if you're just curious about earning potential, hopefully this gives you some useful insights.
And we're basing this on a detailed article that lists out these roles.
That's right. A really helpful piece laying out these options.
Okay, let's dive in then. First one that kind of jumped out is proofreader. I mean, we all spot typos, but getting paid well for it. Is there really that much demand?
Well, it's interesting. The demand is actually broader than you might think. The article mentions digital media, print media, blogging, marketing,
Okay.
even hospitality. Think about it, one little error on a menu or a website or a big marketing campaign.
Yeah, that could be bad. Or expensive.
Exactly. So a good proofreader is crucial for that final polish, making sure everything's clear and professional.
And the flexibility aspect.
Yeah.
That sounds appealing. The source mentions remote work potential.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge plus for many people, the work from anywhere thing. Pay-wise, the average is apparently around $25 an hour.
Okay, $25.
And this is interesting for freelance proofreaders, people working for themselves. It can go up to around $40 an hour.
Wow, $40. That's a big jump.
It is. It shows there's a real premium on that specialized skill if you're independent. Now, some companies do want experience, sure, but the article also says beginners can find work, especially if they get some solid training.
Right, so training helps you get your foot in the door.
Definitely. Even big publishers rely a lot on freelancers for accuracy.
Okay, next. Sleep consultant. It sounds niche, but clearly pays well if it's on this list. What does a sleep consultant actually do?
Okay, yeah, it does sound specific. Essentially, they help families, mostly parents with children's sleep issues.
Ah,
They work with them to set up healthy sleep routines using, sleep science to fix problems like trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. And like proofreading, a lot of this can be done virtually.
makes sense.
Yeah, the article even mentions a specific place, the Center for Pediatric Sleep Management, CPSM. They offer courses and certification.
So instead of parents just desperately Googling at 3 a.m.
Exactly. They can hire a professional.
And the pay reflects that need.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
The average is stated around $35 an hour. And again, if you start your own business doing this, your earnings could potentially be much higher.
Right.
Now, the source says no specific qualifications are technically mandatory, but getting certified, like through that CPSM place, that definitely adds credibility. Helps build trust, which is huge here.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Healthcare. Nurse practitioner. This sounds more traditional maybe, but the growth.
Wow. Yeah, that's a key takeaway. The article highlights a really remarkable job growth outlook, 54% over the next 10 years.
54%.
I know, that's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It signals huge growing demand. And NPs, they have significant responsibilities, examining patients, ordering tests, interpreting them, creating treatment plans. They're vital.
And I assume the pay reflects that responsibility.
It does. The average pay mentioned, around $54 an hour per ZipRecruiter.
Okay, that's substantial.
Very. But, getting there requires a specific path. You generally need a bachelor's in nursing first,
Right.
then become a registered nurse, and then you have to pass a specific NP board certification exam. So, yeah, it's a commitment. Requires dedication, solid education. Interesting fact, in many places, NPs can actually practice independently now.
Okay, let's move into the tech world. Web developer. Seems like a school that's just constantly needed now.
Oh, for sure. Web developers are basically the architects of everything we do online. Their job involves, well, designing how websites look, actually writing the code.
Like JavaScript, HTML.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Creating the user interfaces, testing everything works,
Finding the bugs.
finding the bugs, troubleshooting. It's a multifaceted role.
And what's the typical rate for those skills?
The source puts the average around $35 per hour.
$35.
Yeah. And what's interesting is while a computer science degree isn't always required,
Oh, really?
well, it helps, obviously, but the absolute must-have is deep knowledge of coding and programming. You've got to be able to actually build and maintain functional, good-looking websites. Demand is super high for specialists, too, like in security or certain frameworks.
Got it. Okay, next, social media manager. Feels like every single business needs one of these now.
It really does. A good social media presence is just, well, it's essential for marketing, branding, talking to customers,
Yeah.
everything. So the manager oversees all those channels.
And creating content, planning campaigns.
Exactly. Crafting posts, developing strategies for different platforms like Instagram or TikTok or whatever, knowing how to connect with the audience. It's a real skill.
And the pay for managing all that.
The article cites an average annual salary around $51,000.
Okay, so around $25 an hour if you break it down full time. A bit lower than some others maybe, but still solid.
Right. And while it says formal certification isn't usually mandatory, having real experience,
A track record.
yeah, a portfolio showing you know what you're doing, that's a huge plus.
Makes sense. Now this next one sounds fun. Voice actor. Getting paid just to talk.
Well, a bit more than just talking. But yeah, lending your voice to projects, them commercials, audiobooks.
Cartoons? Video games?
Exactly. Animated characters, e-learning, corporate videos, lots of stuff. The article mentions platforms like voices.com, Bunny Studio, places like that, plus general freelance sites where you can find gigs.
So is it just about having a good voice?
A good, versatile voice is definitely the starting point, but the pay can be really good. The article says around $75 per audio hour.
$75 per hour of finished audio, I assume.
Right, per finished hour, so quite substantial. And while you don't necessarily need formal qualifications to start, the source is clear that training, coaching, that can really speed things up, help you land jobs, refine your technique. It's like any performance skill.
Right, honing the craft.
Mm.
Okay, moving on. Freelance writer. Another one where people probably wonder if you can really make good money.
Yeah, and the source confirms you definitely can reach that $30 an hour mark or even more with freelance writing. It offers that flexibility, working on different projects, different clients.
Where do people find this work?
The article suggests places like Babbel, Listverse, Upworthy might be starting points, or job boards like ProBlogger and FleshJobs. It also mentions training resources like Catena. There's just so much writing needed today. Website content, emails, technical stuff.
So what's the typical hourly rate look like?
Okay, so the article gives an average around $22 an hour. But, and this is important, says that can vary a lot.
Depending on what you write.
Exactly. Your niche makes a big difference. Technical writing might pay way more than, say, general blog posts. Also depends on your experience, who you're writing for.
And background. Do you need like an English degree?
Not necessarily required, no. But having a background in journalism or communications, or maybe being an expert in a specific topic you write about, that definitely gives you an edge.
Gotcha. Okay. Sales representative. This feels pretty fundamental to business.
Totally. Sales reps are often the engine driving revenue. Their job is selling products or services, talking to customers, keeping clients happy.
Maybe cold calling too.
Yeah, the article mentions that. So you need good communication skills, maybe a thick skin sometimes. It lists companies like LiveWorld, Service 800, Arise, Zapier as places that often hire remotely for these roles.
And the compensation.
Average annual salary is reported around $70,000.
$70,000, that's pretty good.
Yeah. The source notes employers often want at least a couple of years of sales experience, though some entry-level spots exist. And being good at communication, juggling tasks essential. Plus, often there's commission.
Ah, right. So potential to earn even more.
Exactly, if you're good at it.
Okay, now the article apparently circled back to a few roles mentioned in like a FAQ section. Sleep consulting again, and then bookkeeping and virtual assisting.
Yeah.
What was the key point there?
Yeah, the crucial takeaway was that the article specifically called out those three: sleep consulting, bookkeeping, and virtual assisting as clear examples where you can earn around that $30 an hour mark without needing a 4-year college degree.
Okay, that's a big one for many listeners.
For sure. But it also stressed that getting certifications or specialized training in those fields, it's really valuable.
Boosts your chances, makes you look better.
Exactly. Enhances your credibility, makes you more attractive to clients or employers, and you might be able to charge higher rates too.
That makes a lot of sense. Skills and focused training being key. So the article then tackled some direct questions people might have. First, is $30 an hour actually good pay today?
And the answer was a pretty clear yes. The article states it's definitely good pay. It offers, a solid base for financial stability, helps with that work-life balance. It seems like a lot of these flexible, higher-paying roles kind of cluster around that rate.
Good to know. And the big one, Can you really get a $30 an hour job without a degree?
Again, according to the source, yes, absolutely. It points back to bookkeeping, sleep consulting, virtual assisting as prime examples.
Right.
But it hammers home that point again. Degree might not be needed, but certifications or training, they can really help your prospects and your pay in those fields.
Okay. And finally, just putting in perspective, $30 an hour, what does that look like annually?
Right. For someone working full-time, like 40 hours a week, $30 an hour comes out to roughly $62,000 a year.
62K. Okay. Gives you a solid benchmark.
Yeah, it helps you picture the overall financial impact.
So wrapping this all up, it really sounds like there's quite a diverse range of jobs out there if you're aiming for that $30 plus per hour goal.
That's definitely the main message. The article shows options across different fields, many with that flexibility we talked about. And while, yes, some roles need specific degrees or lots of experience,
Like the nurse practitioner.
right, but others are much more accessible, maybe through specific training or developing certain skills or just being proactive about building your expertise in an area.
This has been really, really insightful. It's actually quite encouraging to see just how many different paths there might be.
Absolutely.
Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? With all these options, which one might actually fit your interests, your skills? Maybe now's a good time to, look into some of those resources we mentioned, check out those training programs or job boards, and really see if there's potential for a career shift or even just a side hustle that could seriously boost your income and maybe, just maybe, help you find a bit more of that work-life harmony everyone's chasing.